Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. For those of you who know me, hi. It's awesome that we're going to be able to be doing these Free Agent Fridays every Friday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brandy Runyon. I am a professional football agent. Yes, I am licensed, and I own my own sports agency. We've been in business for a while now, many, many years. We started off in entertainment, scaled into sport, and now we do a little bit of everything. Hey, Eric, good morning.
Hey,
Um,
good morning.
my agency is based in Dallas, and it is Black Diamond Sport and Entertainment Group. You can look us up at www.blackdiamondfirm.com, and then you can get access to all the cool things. So I'm really glad that Eric's on today because he can always chime in too and ask some really great questions. Today we are talking about agents and how to find and keep a good agent. Okay, so to jump into that, you'd have to have a little bit of insight of kind of who I am, and what I do in the industry. And for years, I have been known in the industry, I guess, for my feistiness, I guess you could say, but I am known as an ethics enforcer in football. I have fought a lot of battles to keep free agents safe, and to help them further their careers. So one of the things that happened in recent years is I found like a whole little honey hole. It was an agency posing as an agency with agents that weren't really agents. They were putting NFL licensed agent behind their name. They were putting CFL agent behind their name. Um, and none of that was accurate. And so today I'm going to show you, as we go through, actually how to verify people's information so that you don't get taken advantage of. Okay. So, one of the things that's very dangerous about not dealing with a licensed agent is they can actually take a higher level commission from you than what they're supposed to. Um, and that was exactly what was happening in the situation that I'm talking about. These people that were not licensed were actually um, having athletes sign these contracts that were like lifelong contracts or 10-year contracts, and telling them, hey, once you get a playing contract, whether I got it for you or whether you got it for yourself, you're going to pay me 10, 20, 30% of the contract. Well, one of the things free agents may not understand is that the NFL and the CFL were regulated. Okay. We are capped at 3%. 3% is the max that we can take off of any playing contract. Now, we do have the ability to take less, right? So we could take 2%, 1%, 1.5%, whatever the situation is, but we can never take more than 3% on a playing contract. That's just how the law works. Okay. So I reported them. We actually spent the better part of 2 years fighting um, to get this agency kind of discovered, and we were successful. Um, and throughout this process, the inception of Article 28.1 came into being. Article 28.1 is now installed in the CFL's collective bargaining agreement. And it states that all member clubs shall be required to negotiate with each player or any person designated by the player in writing to represent the player, and that the club should make best efforts not to deal with any person who is not registered as a contract advisor with the CFLPA. Um, what happens now is the member clubs or the teams in Canada are required, anytime they have interest in a player or they're talking back and forth with someone who represents a player, they have to contact the CFLPA to verify that the person they're dealing with is actually licensed. Because if they're not licensed, now we litigate them. And if you Google CFL active litigations, you're going to see teams right now today that are being litigated because they were negotiating with someone who was not a licensed agent. Okay, those things are going to hurt you in your career. So my job, I feel like, is to be an educator for you, to help protect you, kind of teach you a little bit of the backside of the industry, so that if you're trying to represent yourself, or maybe you have hired an agent, that you understand best practices, all right? So for athletes working to go pro, having the right agent at your side is one of the most critical decisions that you're ever going to make in your career. It's a decision that you don't want to rush into. Guys, it's like getting married, okay? You don't want to just go out and marry anybody, right? You want to do your homework and get to know them and make sure that you're on the same page and that your goals long-term align. Okay, so you're not going to rush into this. It's one of those decisions that you should spend a lot of time on learning how to do it correctly so that you don't have to contend with problems later down the line, like a lot of the athletes were doing with those fake agents. So these fake agents are going to hurt you in the long term because they're not licensed, they're not bonded, they don't hold surety bonds. These are all things that, as a professional football agent, we are all required to do. Like if you look me up, you can see that I'm verified, licensed, bonded with the state of Texas. Okay, that's actually something that can be verified. But these agents feed on the desperation of naive free agents. A lot of you don't really understand the process. You're just in a hurry. You want to get there. You want to get your contract, and I understand that. But if you don't understand the nature of the business and how things work, it's going to set you back tremendously on your timeline of finding a playing contract. Okay, so here are some of the things that I want you to look for as you're looking to find an agent. First of all, you don't want to work with anyone who's charging an upfront fee for finding you a contract. Okay. These are people who are going to say, you need to pay me $250 and then I'll go find you a contract. That is not legitimate business. Okay. Now, there are certain situations, I'm about to give you one, right? Because our agency charges a fee for marketing. It's not a fee to be your agent. It's a fee to send your player profile to teams if you are not part of this year's draft class. The reason we do that is because you're using our time, our resources, our manpower, and we're on the phone, we're fielding emails and all these types of things. So of course, if you're not part of this year's draft class, it makes my job that much harder to convince a team to let you play. Okay, so I'm spending all of that time representing you. So there is a fee for that. That's not what I'm talking about. Those kind of fees are normal in marketing agencies that are providing that service for guys who are not part of this draft class. Okay, if you're part of this upcoming draft class, or you were part of this past one, there shouldn't be fees at all. Like, we just market you, unless you're subscribing or you are paying an agency to market you and do like your PR and your management, all that. Those things are consumable products that you do pay for. Okay, so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the slimy people who are charging you a fee just to get you a contract. Okay, the other thing is there's no guarantee that they can even get you a contract, and that's one of the things I've always told players. I have control zero over how good you are or anything like that. So I would never make you a promise that, yeah, I can get you a contract, because that's not true. Okay, I don't have that kind of power. All right. Also, if there's anyone charging a percentage of a contract that they find for you that is not, if they're not licensed. So if they're throwing out percentages to you that are above 3%, that should be a huge red flag for you. Don't ever agree to that. It's not legal. Okay. The NFL and the CFL, they cut us off at 3%. We literally cannot put that in writing. No one should be charging you more than 3%. And if they're trying to, you need to report them and not work with them. Also, anyone who's claiming to be an agent, or one of my favorite terms, agent advisor or athlete manager, who is not licensed. I'm not going to name names, but there are schools or programs out there, and they encourage their students to put agent advisor behind their names. So if you're a free agent football player and you see agent advisor, guys, it's not your fault. You just don't understand what that means. And you see agent advisor and you just automatically assume that they're licensed, and that is not the case in all situations. All right. So I need you to understand there are a lot of people out there who are going to claim that they've gone to college or they've taken maybe an athlete management course. Those are things that even our agency provides. Um, and they're going to say they hold a certain title, but let me be the first one to say that taking a class and taking a licensing exam are two entirely different things. Okay. Reading a book does not make you an agent. Studying for and passing the league's licensing exam, paying your licensing fees, being state registered, licensed, and bonded are what makes you an agent. Okay, so the bottom line is if this person that you're talking to is not a registered agent with the professional football league that you are trying to get into, or if they're claiming to be marketing athletes, but you have no proof that they're licensed, they're not agents. It's just cut and dry. It's really simple. All right. So if you're going about your business as an athlete the legal and proper way, you absolutely must be working with a licensed agent. Guys, it's very rare to get into the NFL or the CFL or the UFL without a licensed agent. I'm not saying that it's impossible because things happen, but it's extremely rare. And those types of exceptions normally happen to exceptional players who already have experience playing in the NFL. Okay. So if you're trying to get in anywhere, you have to have a legitimate licensed agent. So now I'm going to talk to you about how do we find them, right? So the first thing that you can do, and it sounds so simple, right, is if you're trying to find an agent or if you're just trying to verify that someone is licensed, if you like this person and they're saying they're licensed, you can go find proof of that relatively easily. So the first thing you're going to do is you can actually Google find an NFL agent, and it's going to pop up a page. It's the NFLPA.com/agents. And that's going to take you right to the page where you can verify someone's name. I can't really do a screen share right now, or I could just show you right this second what that page actually looks like. But when you get to that page, it has little search tabs where you can put in a name. So if you only know someone's first name or their last name or whatever, maybe the city or the state that they're operating in, you can put that information in and hit search, and it's going to spit out those people. So for this example, if you're following along with me, and you can go right now to NFLPA or just Google NFL agent, find an NFL agent on Google, and it's going to pull that page up for you. If you want to go right now with me, I'll give you a name to search. I have a very good friend of mine that I co-represent a lot of athletes with, and we're going to pull up his name so that you can just practice this. So his name is Khary Wright. It's spelled Khary. And if you only put his first name into that box and hit search, it's going to pull him up because he's the only one there with his name spelled that way, Khary. And it's going to bring up Khary Wright. And so that's a great example to show you. He's going to pop up and you're going to see his name, the name of his business, and a little link where you can click it and get in contact with him. It's that easy. So if you have like Joe Bob Nelson, who says that they're a licensed agent, and you're going to the NFLPA's agent search site and you're putting in Joe Bob Nelson's name, and he doesn't pop up, guys, he's not licensed. Okay, the league is very good. They're almost in real time with their update process. And if you come across someone who tells you, oh, well, I took the exam and I'm just waiting for them to update the website, don't work with them. Okay, because that's a common story too, and it's confusing for players. If their name doesn't populate in that search, they're not licensed. It's cut and dried. It's very simple. The other website that you're going to need is the CFLPA's website. Guys, let me tell you that everyone wants to play in the NFL. I got you. I totally understand that. But you also need a CFL agent. If you are at that level and you're having trouble breaking into the NFL, or maybe you've been cut from an NFL practice squad or whatever the situation is, the CFL is the next place you should be trying to go, or the UFL. All right. But the UFL doesn't have agents specific to it. Okay. The Canadian Football League does. I'm a Canadian Football League agent. So the next website that you're going to need to go to is the cflpa.com/advisors. Their website is way less complex than NFLPA. So you're going to be able to pull our information up really easily. So if you go to that website, it's cflpa.com/advisors, it's going to spit out this whole list. Like there's not even a search tab because there aren't as many of us as there are NFL agents. So it doesn't require that kind of complexity as far as their website is concerned. And you guys can go on here and you can find my name. My phone number is right there. Please don't text me. Please don't call me. If you're, don't go on there and start spamming me. That happens a lot. But you can go and you can confirm right here that I am who I say I am and that I am licensed, okay? Or maybe if you're looking for an agent specific to the state that you live in, that's very easy to find. If you want to work with someone in Texas or Florida or wherever, that information is there. It's laid out. You can confirm it, okay? So now you know how to verify that whoever you're speaking to is licensed. And if they are not on this list, don't work with them. It's okay to have more than one agent, as long as your agents are talking to each other and they understand that they are co-representing you. I've had a lot of situations where I work with NFL agents and we co-represent, okay? And that is perfectly fine. I've known some guys who have had 3 agents and, to each their own. Whatever situation works best for you is perfectly fine. I'm going to go back right now and just see if there are any questions right now. So we're using this brand new circle thing. I'm trying to see if I can get to, I can get to the chat. So there is a chat feature. So if you have a question that you want me to answer, throw it in there right now while we're doing this, and I can answer it right here, right now for you. Also, I want to talk to you about the best way to approach an agent. So there are some steps before you actually reach out to an agent that you should be doing. You should be doing all of this work ahead of time, okay? You guys are so quick on the stick. You want to get going right now, right now. You want an agent, you want a team, you want your contract, but you have to do everything in a very professional way. If you've ever been to my symposium, I see Dwayne in here. Dwayne has gone through Rookie Symposium and Showcase before, so this is not new information for him for sure. But we talk a lot about CEO mindset, which is another live stream that we're going to be doing in a few weeks. But I try to remind athletes that you're a CEO. If you're a football player, you're in charge of your career and you're supposed to be. Agents work for you. Like you should never be afraid of your agent, things like that. You have the ability to hire and to fire people accordingly within your circle. So if you're going to be a CEO, how would a CEO approach the situation if they're looking for an agent? They get prepared, right? You don't just start working down this list, texting these people and emailing these people. We ignore that all day long. I get phone calls, I get texts, I get emails. And if they are not in a professional tone, I just delete them in all honesty. And I hope that doesn't anger or offend or upset people, but that's the nature of the business. Because if I'm getting an email or an unsolicited text or phone call when I'm sitting at the dinner table, that's already someone I don't want to deal with, right? Because you're not respecting boundaries and time. Like you're just not approaching it in a professional way. So number 1, stay within business hours. And number 2, have a plan together. Now I have a template that I will be posting in our circle community. If you're not a community member, I urge you to go to our website and sign up for that. It's completely free. I provide a lot of resources here to help free agents get to where they need to go. And so I've got a template specifically for reaching out to agents. Okay. And I'll give that to you. And all you have to do is edit it. But I'm going to tell you some of the things that I get and that agents get in general that we absolutely hate. Let me back up a second because I want to tell you that the best way to reach out to an agent is through email. Don't call us. Please don't text us. Get your template together, like this template I'm going to provide you, and email us. Okay. What that does is it allows us to access your requests during business hours or whatever hours that we keep where we are responding to people. And it gives us an opportunity to see if you're being professional and to get all the information that we need about you in one fell swoop. Okay. I'm going to tell you everything that you need to put in that. But email is a very nice way to reach out to agents because there's a greater chance that we're actually going to look at it. Social media messages get lost way too quickly and are very easy for us to overlook. We can kind of roll our eyes and delete those very quickly without even thinking about it. But in email, we can open, we can glance at it, we can flag it to come back to it later if we want to, we can mark it unread. It's a lot more palpable for us to deal with. Okay. A lot of guys go through social media because it's quick and it's kind of a lazy way of doing things, right? Like you can copy and paste messages to all of us really if you want to, but we're probably going to delete them. So even though you can quickly hit up so many agents through LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, it's not the best practice. Okay. I can't tell you how many times I've received social media messages that have said, "Can you represent me?" Like, I don't even know who you are. Like, literally, that's the first message I get. Or, "I need an agent." Well, I know that everyone needs an agent, but that doesn't tell me anything about you. I get first messages that say, "Can you get me a workout?" Like, I don't even know who you are. Um, can you get me on a team? Oh, that's one of my favorite. I get that all the time. Can you get me on a team? Or someone told me that you could hook me up. Those are all terrible ways to make your first impression with an agent. I look at those and I don't respond to them, or I just delete them altogether. Right. So you kind of get the message. You should not be delivering one-liners to agents. The first thing it tells us is that you're lazy and that you're going to waste our time and that you're not serious about even the way you represent yourself. All right. So none of those types of messages motivate me to learn more about you. You don't get my attention that way. And I just delete them because I don't have time to go back and forth, especially through social media or texting to play 20 questions and figure out who are you? Where did you go to school? How old are you? Send me links to your film. Like I want all of that in an email. I want all the information, all the answers to questions I might ask you in one place where I can look at it and review it and make a decision on whether I want to work with you or not. Okay, so I have this template, I'm going to provide it to you, but just to let you know kind of what goes into it, there's a nice introduction, there's an opening paragraph. My voice is already going, guys. I'm so not prepared for today. You're going to state your name, your age. That's important to us because if you're 30 years old and you weren't just cut from the Cowboys or the Buccaneers or something like that, like no one has interest in you. Okay. We get a lot of athletes that are aged out that really we can't help. So it's important that you put your age right there at the beginning of your email so that we know if we should read any further. Okay. Age is very important. There are exceptions, of course, but I'm just telling you that right now so that you don't waste your time and you don't waste everyone else's time. So you're going to put your name, your age, your primary playing position. You can also put any secondary positions that you play. We're going to want to know what university you went to, what year you graduated, all of those types of things. What you did at your university, any accolades or achievements that you racked up while you were there. And then your next paragraph is going to be, I'm reaching out to your organization because, and then state your interest in the agency. So let me pause right here because I want to tell you something. In order to write that paragraph, you have to have done what? Your research, right? If you're reaching out to me wanting to be represented by me, I'm going to expect that you've already looked me up. You know who I am, who my clients have been. And this is a poor representation because I've represented hundreds of athletes, but these are some of my favorites. But I will expect that you've already gone to my website and you have done the deep dive rabbit hole through our company to know who we are and what we've done, because it's incredibly insulting after so many years of working in this industry, especially as a woman. I have pioneered a lot of new legislation. I have helped create changes to collective bargaining agreements. It's a huge insult to me if you reach out to me and you're like, can you help me get on the team? Who are you? What have you done? Who have you worked with? Like, that's information you should already know. You should be reaching out to me because you want to be part of what I've already done. So as you're writing and drafting this email and you're customizing this template that I'm going to share with you, you want to make sure that you put something in there. I want to work with you and your organization because X, Y, Z. It's very flattering. It tells me that an athlete has done his homework and he is here with a purpose. He's not here just because my name was on the list and I was the next person for him to email on this list. It tells me this guy knows who we are, what our culture is, what our vision is, and that somehow his story aligns with what we do. Okay, so you're going to want to put that in there too, and make sure that you're letting people know that you've done your homework and you're very serious and you're prepared and very professional. And then you're going to put some stats in there if you've got them. Make sure that the links to your film are in there too, because it's not going to help us if we don't have film. The other important thing to note is that your film should be recent. And when I say recent, I mean within the last 12 months. If you have not played in 2 years, there is nothing I can do for you. Nothing at all. Okay. I used to, this is funny because I'm in my office today, but people used to tell me, I really need help. And then I would tell them, I can't help you. And I get kind of sassy sometimes. And I'm like, I don't have like a red phone in my office. I don't have favors I can call in. Like, I literally don't have a magic wand. And then someone gave me one. So I have a magic wand now, which I think is hilarious, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I can help you. If your film is not recent within the last 12 months, meaning you have been on a team, actively conditioning, playing, improving your stats, and working with professionals, we have nothing to market. Okay, so it's important that you understand that. So even before you reach out to an agent, you should make sure you've got that, right? That's part of that preparation process. And I've had guys come, well, it's embarrassing. I mean, I had a 40-year-old guy one time hit me up and like, I just want to start playing again. I want to go to the NFL. And it's like, my mind is blown. You have to have played within the last year, or there's no agent on the planet that can get you in unless you fell off an NFL team. There's a lot of power behind the NFL and the CFL and now the UFL, right? So if you have played for those teams, your odds are really good at getting placed somewhere. So just make sure that you have all those things in order. So that's how you get a good agent. If you join our community, you have a lot of resources here, a lot of templates, a lot of how-tos, some step-by-steps on everything that you need to do to be successful, all right? All the way down to interviewing your agent, like how to prepare for that phone call. I have a whole list of questions that you should be asking a prospective agent, right? These are things that you want answers to. Who have you represented? How many contracts have you done? How many active contracts do you have right now? These are all really important questions. And I've got like 15 questions for you to ask. Like, I've done a lot of the work for you to help you take control of this side of the business for yourself. All right. And Eric, I just saw your message. I'm going to come right back to you. Actually, if you're here, do you want to pop in right now? Eric, you can go ahead.
I had something to share, not very long. I had my camera off, sorry, because I'm at home. You got to understand, guys, that if you approach an agent, you need to approach them in the same way, same format that you would a coach for a team that you want to play for. You have to understand that this is a business all the way around. We interact with our teammates and we interact with, the public a little bit differently than we would with coaches and agents and GMs, any front office staff. It's also a good lesson for life after football. When you go on job interviews, how are you going to speak to those people? You're not going to one-liner them. You're not going to not explain why you're qualified or what you're going to do, and that's important. So that's what I wanted to convey, because this will go way beyond football, guys. This will, if you become a front office person, if you become a coach, the way you talk to other coaches, the way you talk to other people, this is going to get you ready for that.
I'm so glad that you said that. It's so true. I'd be lying if I said I've never had a client be rude to me. I've had a lot of clients be rude to me. And I'm a girl, so I think I've cried a few times as well. Like you can't be a jerk. I tell athletes all the time, you're the CEO of your brand. You're boss, okay? You are boss over your agent. And your agent should be working for you. If your agent isn't working for you, you fire agent. And I've been there, and I've helped NFL players fire their agents and hire new ones. It's a whole process, but you do have to speak to us like you care about us, like we're part of your team, like you picked us for a reason, right? So treat us like we're part of this team that you established, that you put together, and that's an important thing for keeping your agent. I've had a lot of guys in the past that'll text me and be like, I haven't heard anything. Like, what are you doing? And with my clients, the way we run our company, and Dwayne can tell you because he was with us for years, we check in every week. Like, we're very serious about how we run our operation here. And we believe firmly that the way we do business is the way business should be done in the industry. And that's why I've kind of moved over into the educational side, is to help agents and agencies function with our framework, and to educate athletes to conform to a certain level of professionalism. But I've had guys hit me up and be like really intense, and I've been cussed out, man. I've been cussed out by parents. I have been dragged through the mud. But at the end of the day, and I care about my clients, and I want to be as tactful and as kind as I can be. But sometimes you just want to say, look, if you're not this NFL client, then there's only so much I can do, right? I have no control over how good of a player you are. I have no control over whether agents see what I see, what you see. I have no control over a coach making a decision to bring you on. All I can do as an agent, and all any agent can do, guys, is to take your film or your player profile. We build player profiles here, and that's what we send. And all we can do is to put you in front of coaches, scouts, and teams, GMs, director of player personnel, and our hands are gone, right? Hands are off of it at that point. It is up to those gatekeepers to make the decision at that point. And there's nothing we can do. And so I've got a great example that I can share with you. I have a client right now. I'm not going to say who or where he went to college. He was a great player, but he never got to the NFL. And like, he was adamant about the Dallas Cowboys. And at his pro day, the scout from the Dallas Cowboys talked to him quite a bit, talked to us quite a bit. He was co-represented. I have a Canadian agent that is also NFL licensed. He's dual licensed, but we co-represented this client together. And the Cowboys scout was all about him at pro day. That doesn't always matter though. And I spent a lot of time explaining that scenario to players too, but let me get back on track here. He was adamant to play for the Cowboys. And he said, man, you guys should be getting into, this tryout, give me a private workout. And it's like, there's only so much we can do. Yes, the scout showed interest in you at pro day, but once he takes his little clipboard back to headquarters and he gets on the phone or he talks to people and shows film, guys, it's out of his hands too, just like it's out of our hands. And what we had trouble telling him is when we talked to the Cowboys, and we talked to them more than once, their answer was no. And once their answer is no, it stays no. If it's no today, it's no tomorrow, and it's no next week. There is no point in me calling them again. Okay. I cannot risk, and this goes for all agents. I speak for all agents here. Like, we cannot risk the relationships that we have with teams over one player that they don't want. Okay. If I upset them by calling them every day saying, you guys are wrong, you've got to take this guy, but they've already told me no collectively, right? It doesn't come from one person. That decision is not made by the scout. It's made by everybody that's in that room, right? So once the answer is no, the answer is no. Like, we can't keep going back. I'm not going to ruin my relationship with the Cowboys because I may have another client that they do want. And if I burn that bridge, I burn it for every client I represent. So that's another thing to understand is when you're dealing with your agent, you've got to understand some of those things as well. And if your agent is telling you, the Cardinals aren't interested, the Cowboys aren't interested, the Titans aren't interested, you have to take that and digest that and process that and just accept that those are closed doors. There's so many doors that can be opened. I wish Dwayne would chime in because I've done so many contracts for Dwayne, which is so funny that he's on here, and he can definitely speak to open doors versus closed doors, getting injured, going to new teams, and things like that happen. And agents, this is a great example with Dwayne, that agents do work. And if he left a team, I put him on another one. I found another pathway. That doesn't happen for every player. It happens sometimes for guys like Dwayne because of their talent, their personality and stuff like that. But if it's not working out, like, don't be a complete jerk to your agent. Don't nag your agent. One of the things that I tell my guys after I get them on board is like, let me work. You're here, you take a big deep breath. My job is to worry about the contracts and the teams and the player marketing. That's all on me at this point. For you, your job is to stick to your diet, stick to your training routine, and stay healthy, because I'm marketing you as a healthy, capable product. And if you don't show up at a team in the condition that I promised them, that hurts me and my reputation and my relationships with the gatekeepers for everyone I represent. So at that point, your job is to just do your job, right? And don't worry about what your agent is doing. Now, let me tell you this, though. You need to hold your agent accountable, and this is something I do talk a lot about in my symposium, that it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to create expectations with your agent, and you should. My golden rule is about like every 2 weeks. Now, my clients I talk to all the time, like they text me, they call me, like, that's fine, whatever. I have some clients who are not as vocal or big on communication, and I have to actually force them to talk to me about once a month. Other clients I talk to weekly, bi-weekly, but I think the golden standard is that you should establish a communication expectation with your agent. I like the 2 weeks. Just tell your agent, I'd like for you to check in with me about every 2 weeks. Let me know what teams you're talking to, scouts, coaches, or whatever. Give me an update. At our agency, that comes in a form of a weekly report. So we just email it to our guys every week, and we say, look, here's who we've been talking to. And it's like a bulleted, itemized, a lot of transparency there. So they get it. Not every agent works that way. So you have to find out how your agent works. But I would tell them every 2 weeks, could you just give me a call or shoot me a text, or like, I expect to hear from you and get an update. And if they can't provide that for you, or they're not willing to work with you on that, then that's not your person, right? Because you are literally on the clock as a free agent. Like you need to find a place to play. Why? Because I was talking about film earlier. You have to have recent film. It has to be within the last 12 months, or we have nothing to market you to your next team. So if your agent is not willing to work with you, can't give you updates, they may or may not be doing their job. I can't speak for them. But I do know that there are certain athletes that take priority over others. And if you're not a high priority athlete to your agent, then you're working with the wrong person. You have decisions to make. But it is okay to ask those questions and have those expectations. Just make sure that you're not texting them every day. If I reached out to the Dallas Cowboys this morning, I'm probably not going to have an update for you. Okay. You have to be a certain level of a player for things to happen really quickly. And that's something that is very difficult for a lot of athletes to understand and kind of get used to. You have to know what level you're at and be very realistic in your expectations of what team you might play for and what level you might play for. Okay. But just be nice. That's how you keep a good agent, is you're respectful of their time. You set boundaries, you have expectations, and you hold each other accountable. Continue to be the player that they're marketing to teams, so that when that call comes, you can be ready to go. Guys, is there anything that I'm missing? Dwayne, please, I see your message now. Please say something, say anything, share your wisdom, share your struggles. He hasn't unmuted, so I'll just wait. Dwayne, you can hop in anytime. He has seen, we've seen a lot of stuff. Oh, okay, I see you. Oh, I see you.
Okay, so I got everything. You hear me now? You hear me good?
I can hear you.
All right. How you doing, fellas? My name is Dwayne Larkin. I was a busy client, for Randy for a while, and what I could say about her is never positive. You know what I'm saying? And I can piggyback what you said about the time when I got injured, playing the arena and stuff like that. That's when I first had the agent. So I was still getting, like the feel of it. You know what I'm saying? First, I was skeptical because I've never had an agent before. So I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go and whatnot. But like I said, she was 100% with me, man. She broke it down to me, like how it works and, with the marketing aspect and for the team's looking for and professionalism and stuff like that. And yeah, man, like it been times when I got hurt and came back able to play. She felt me a team like that week. Like I said, I played arena for 8 years now. So it's like, she, like, if one door closes, like the next week, the next day, I got a phone call. Yo, I got a team. Says, I got a team here. I got a team. I want you here. I'm like, damn, that was quick. So, like, it was like, I said, wow, like she really, doing, actually supposed to do the agent and helping you out. And there been times before I had like an issue with my family, and I was like, still skeptical if I was going to play or not. That season, and I had to turn down to what it was, like 5 teams, 6 teams. Not because I wanted to, but
Yeah.
I had family issues, so I couldn't leave right away.
Yeah.
Then then once the day got settled, I let her know, and she, went back on the market again. And that week, you know what I'm saying? So I get a phone call about another team. That's why I never was worried about getting a phone call with Brittany, because I know eventually I was gonna get calls from her. I never, like you said, I never called her every day. She called me, let me get to work, get back to you. And she checked in, every, a couple of weeks, like you said before. So when she represented me in the arena season that was coming around, I never had any worries because I know I was getting a phone call. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I had nothing but positive things to say about Brenda with me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, there's an agent you need, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be straightforward, they're straightforward, not gonna bullshit you. Brandy definitely is a good one, from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? I'm speaking from experience.
Thank you,
You know what I'm
Dwayne.
saying? I wish I was able to meet her when I first got out of college, but it's cool though.
Yeah.
Like I said,
We've done so much. I mean, gosh, it's so cool that you're here, Dwayne, because I have so many stories and I feel like I never have a lot of time to actually tell them. But like Dwayne can tell you, I flew to Florida to be with him at a showcase. Like he came to Texas and did stuff. We went through some legal stuff together with like a team that wasn't carrying their workers' comp like they were supposed to. We've been through a lot of stuff. I mean, and this is just one example of one athlete that, you know, we did a whole lot of work for. And an interesting fact is, Dwayne and I haven't actually been under contract. Like he hasn't been in our agency for over a year. And we still have this amazing relationship. Like he knows that if he needs anything, he can get in contact with me. If he tries to start playing football again, like I'm here. And that is kind of how it should be. And that's why I wanted to start doing like these live streams, because I want to bring to light some of the things that I do in the industry. I've always been one of those people. I'm super ADD, ADHD. I'm always going like a million miles an hour with my hair on fire. That's the way I operate. But what I've realized over time is that I've done so much. And when you're just going forward all the time, you don't always stop and look behind you to see what you've accomplished and the lives you've changed and the things that you've done. And it's important, I think, at this stage of my life and in my career that I actually slow down and start telling some of these stories and show people the work that I've done in the industry for free agents, and to help educate people. And Dwayne, if you can see my picture, you probably know who this is right here. And he's a big reason why I've almost semi-retired as an agent, kind of moved over into just education. But this is a project that I've wanted to do for a very long time. So I'm really glad that you guys joined in for the live. I'm going to be doing these free agent Friday sessions, hopefully every Friday, just as a space where I can talk to players and answer questions. And anytime you guys can jump on and kind of share your wisdom and kind of back up some of the things that I'm saying so that they know I'm not just like BSing them on stuff, I would love that. There's so much wisdom out there and there's not enough people out there helping to guide these guys. Like I could care less if they sign with my agency. I want them to know how the business works so that they're not wasting time getting to where they need to go, or maybe they're not wasting time trying to get somewhere that they will never go. There are a lot of athletes that do need to move on and to enter the next stage of their life and be with their families or take on other jobs or maybe go back to college. And I'm here to kind of encourage people every which way. And the stories that you guys have, whether you've worked with me or you've not worked with me, all of those experiences and stories that you bring to the table are really important for everyone who's going to see this. And these are recorded, so they will get posted and shared. So hopefully everything that happened today will be beneficial moving forward. But that's about it for today. Does anyone have anything else they need to say? Eric, do you have any final parting words that you want to throw out?
Hey, that like Dwayne, I wish I had met you while I was still playing. We didn't meet until my playing career was over. So you know, and that's important. You know, Brandy is the type of agent that every agent should be. We know that doesn't always, you know, people don't always follow the right roads when it comes to this industry. And Brandy is definitely the prototype of what it should be, what things should look like for us as athletes and even beyond our playing days. Stays in contact, always cares about you as a person, not just as an athlete. And that's important.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I've always kind of thought that what we were doing should have been the standard. When I got in the industry and just saw the corruption, like my goodness, there's so much to it. And that's why we're doing these live streams every week, right? So we can kind of break some of this stuff down and kind of bring some of it to light. I know Article 28.1 was a huge win for me, and they're never probably going to give me full credit for it, but I fought so hard to expose the people that were there. And we're going to do a whole segment on that because there's so much, Eric, there's so much to talk about. And unfortunately, I can't name names and stuff like that. I will say that some of the major players that were part of that fraud, they are licensed now. But we'll talk about how that happened later on. It wasn't supposed to happen, and I was told that they would be permanently banned and blocked in the NFL as well as the CFL. But when it came down to it, um, they allowed them to get licensed. So I hate that they were able to perpetuate a fraud, and we'll go into that in another one because it's very easy for me to soapbox. But thank you guys for being here today. This was so much fun. You know that I hate being on camera, but I'm trying to get used to it so that it can be for the benefit of everyone else. But thanks for being here, and I hope you'll join me for the next one.